Guys, it's Sekaar, and today I'm going to be going over my Arcanist build for update 40. Before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you so much to everybody who's been subscribing to the channel lately. I have seen a significant increase in people subbing, so guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate that so much. You guys have no idea. So if you guys aren't subscribed to the channel yet, why don't you join them? It would really mean a lot to me if you guys went and subbed. It's so free, and it's a really free way to help support your favorite content creators. So without further ado, let's get started. We are going to be in Imperial on our Arcanist. I really think Imperial is best in slot because of that overall reduced cost passive. Your abilities on Arcanist can be very expensive sometimes, and Imperial really helps reduce the cost of everything that you've got. So in my opinion, that's the best way to go. If you don't have Imperial, my next few choices will be probably Orc, Khajiit, or maybe even Wood Elf, but probably Orc or Khajiit. I think that those are probably my best options. As far as our attributes go, we're going to have 35 points into health and 29 points into stamina to give us a max magic pool of 16.5k, a max health pool of 34k, and a max stam pool of 20.9k. Our Mundus is going to be the Serpent to increase our stam recovery. Our stam recovery on this build, I know it looks very excessive, but it's actually really helpful, and our damage is already still super solid. Our stam recovery is 2600 at all times. If you feel like you're over sustaining, because we kind of are on this build, just use the Warrior Mundus. It really helps your overall weapon and spell damage. Or the Lover, that would increase your overall pen. But I just liked using stam recovery because, I don't know, it was just, I was never running out of stam no matter what, so I thought it was funny. Also, we're going to be using Jewels of Mizrael. It's going to increase our stam and magic recovery and also our max health. And then Vampire Stage 3 as always, because that Undeath passive is massive. That is going to give you Undeath, and that is basically going to be the lower health you are, the less damage you take. Moving on to our gear, our first 5-piece set that's going to be on our body at all times is going to be Dragon's Appetite. This is going to give you a line of weapon spell damage, 2 lines of stam recovery to give you even more stam recovery, and then increases your damage done to bleeding enemies by 225, and dealing non-bleed damage to bleeding enemies is going to generate a stack of Dragon's Appetite, and you can get one every 0.5 seconds. And when you get to 10 stacks, you're going to get a nice chunky heal, so that's awesome. It's great for your overall increased damage, your overall healing. It's just overall a great set, and there's a reason why it's really meta right now. We're also going to be using a heavy Dragon's Appetite chest piece in Reinforced. We're going to have a 1-piece Magma Incarnate shoulder in Well Fitted medium. I just like this because you're going to get an extra line of mag and stam recovery, so that just helps your overall recover. And then moving on, our hands are going to be medium Dragon's Appetite in Impen. We're also going to be using a light Draugr sash in Impen as well. This is going to be our front bar set. So Draugr is going to give you a line of max magic, offensive penetration, magic recovery, and then increases your damage done by 330, but it's also going to reduce your healing taken by 10%. So that's why you're only having this on your front bar and not on your body at all times. If you had it on your body at all times, you'd have some serious healing issues, and you don't really need to do that. Only front barring it is solid. It's the way to go, and it increases your damage so much. We're also going to be using medium boots of Dragon's Appetite in Impen as well, and also heavy Dragon's Appetite legs in Reinforced. We're also going to be using a Draugr amulet, and then in the infused trait with a weapon and spell damage enchantment on it, and a Draugr ring as well with an infused weapon and spell damage enchantment on it as well. That's just really helpful. I really like infused lately. It increases your overall weapon and spell damage as much as possible. Also, we're going to be using Death Dealers in the infused trait with a weapon and spell damage enchantment on it. Basically, what Death Dealers does is it gives you a stack of magic, health, and stam every second that you're in combat, or every 2 seconds, I'm sorry, and then once you're at max stats, you're basically having an increased 2600 magic, stam, and health. So that's great for your overall tankiness, and because you're just going to get more health, and it's great for your overall sustain. You're going to have more magic and stam as well. And overall, it's just my favorite mythic right now. It's great. Our front bar weapons are going to be dual-wield Draugr maces. Manhand is going to be Nirnhone with a poison damage enchantment on it. Our offhand is going to be sharpened with a disease enchantment on it. And then back bar is going to be Vateshran Perfected Ice Staff. I know, surprising, in the defending trait with an increased weapon and spell damage enchantment on it as well. This is going to just basically give you a nice little beam of damage between you and your enemies, and it is just a nice increase in damage, and you really feel the extra pressure when you have this on your enemies. Moving on to our skills, we'll start with our front bar skills first. We're going to be using Rending Slashes because this is going to be what's activating your dragon's appetite. So activate this so that your enemies start to have a bleed on them, and then at that point you're just going to be gaining any kind of dragon's appetite stacks, and it's just going to help your overall damage, your overall healing. It's great. We're also going to be using Groon of the Colorless Pool. This is going to be basically your CC on this build. When you have your entire damage burst lined up, you hit this on them, then you start to use your beam on them, and you're just doing a significant amount of damage. It's a great CC. Also, by doing this, it's going to apply minor vulnerability and minor brittle to your enemies, so it's going to increase their damage taken by 5% and increase their critical damage taken increases their critical damage taken by 10%, increases their overall damage taken by 5%. So overall, make sure that you use this. It's going to increase your enemy's damage taken, so you always want to have that. We're also going to be using Recuperative Treatise. I don't know the names of these things, to be honest. Arcanist is still kind of new to me. This is going to be your source of major brutality and sorcery just by having this slotted, so it's going to increase your weapon and spell damage by 20%. Also, every 5 seconds, you're going to get some damage done to your enemies, so it's awesome. And also, on top of that, you're going to be restoring 600 magic and stam as well, so it's great for your overall sustain. And it's also going to generate a crux as well. And then Pragmatic Fate Carver is going to be our beam damage on here. So this is going to be proccing every 0.3 seconds when you have for damage when you're beaming. And so if you have this out for how long after you have your bleeding enemies on them, it's going to gain a lot of stacks of Dragon's Appetite for you. And it's also going to increase your damage done a lot because you're going to have the Troggerkin buff on this and the Dragon's Appetite buff on this. So your minimum damage takes are still going to hit really hard because of this. I love it so much. You're hitting so hard. Also, Crux Weaver's Armor, this is going to be your source of major resolve, so it's going to increase your physical and spell resistance by 6k. Also, it's going to apply minor breach to your enemies whenever they do damage to you, so it's going to reduce their physical and spell resistance by 3k. So that's a great extra source of damage on your enemies as well. And also, you get a Crux for this as well, so that's awesome. And then Thrive in Chaos. This is your dual-wield ultimate on your front bar. It gets a nice little cone AoE out for you, and you do a lot of damage over 8 seconds. You heal for 51% of the damage done as well, so it's a nice bit of healing, and you do more damage for each enemy hit. So there was one time where I was on back flag of a keep, and I hit this on about 5 to 6, 7 people. And the extra bit of damage that I had on them was insane. I was watching every single one of their health bars just drop. Try and stack people when you use this ability. It is insane. I can't stress that enough. Back bar, we're going to be using Impervious Rune Ward as one of our main sources of damage mitigation. You're going to get a 11.5k damage shield for 1 second, and then after that, you're going to get a little bit of a shield as well. And on top of that, it's so these skills are so stacked. Basically, if you have Cruxes as well, you're also going to be healing yourself for 3,400, and that's going to scale up your max health, so you're going to get even higher when your Death Dealers is fully procced. And then on top of that, you're going to get more health the more Cruxes you consume as well. So it's a nice little burst deal if you have 3 Cruxes, and it's great for your oh damn moments to make sure you get out of those low health situations. Race Against Time, this is going to be a lot of abilities in one. It's going to be your snare removal, so it's going to be great to just get out of situations. Also, it's going to give you Major Expedition for 4 seconds, so it's going to increase your movement speed by 30%. So it's going to give you Minor Force, so it's going to increase your critical damage by 10%, so it's awesome. And then I like Rune Guard of the Still Waters as well. This is going to be your source of minor resolve, so it's going to increase your physical and spell resistance by 3k. Also, you're going to be immobilizing your enemies as well, so it's going to be a nice way to kind of control the fight too. Also, you're going to get minor protection as well for 20 seconds, so it's going to reduce your damage taken by 5%. And on top of that, when your health is below 50%, for the first time, you're going to get a nice little 10.4k heal. So it's a nice little burst heal when you take a lot of damage, and you just reapply it. That way you can get that minor protection again. It's awesome. And then Evolving Rune Men, this is going to be a nice little heal that you can either give to yourself or allies. Each one is 3.5k, so 3.5 times 3, that's what, 13.5k heal. That's a pretty solid heal between Evolving Rune Men, Rune Guard of Still Waters, and Impervious Rune Ward. You've got a lot of healing on this build. It's really nice. And then also on top of that, you have Ellie's Susceptibility. This is going to be what's proccing your Vatishron staff. And on top of that, it's going to apply Major Breach to your enemies. So it's going to reduce their physical and spell resistance by 6k. Also, every 7.5 seconds, the enemy is afflicted with the burning status and burning, chilled, and concussion status effects. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Also, we're using the Sanctum of the Abyssal Sea as our backbar ultimate. It doesn't do nearly as much damage anymore as it used to because there was kind of a patch on that because it used to be hitting really hard, but it's still really nice for your overall damage mitigation, and it's still nice for your extra little bit of sustained damage when you're taking a lot of pressure and then you're ready to kind of turn and burn on your enemies. It's really nice when you're able to CC them properly at the exact same time. And then finally, onto our champion points. Our blue slottables are going to be Ironclad, Wrathful Strikes, Thaumaturge, and Untamed Aggression. Our red slottables are going to be Boundless Vitality, Sustained by Suffering, Survival Instincts, and Pain's Refuge. And our green tree, the only things that I really care about are Breakfall, Rationer, and Liquid Efficiency. And that is the entire build, guys. I also use tripods as well. They are going to give you magic, health, and stam back, and give you major fortitude, major intellect, and major endurance as well. So it's going to increase your health recovery, your magic recovery, and your stam recovery as well by a bunch. So guys, that is the entire build. I really hope that you guys enjoyed. Again, I can't stress enough, if you're not, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. It's awesome, it's free, it means a lot to me. I also recently started streaming on YouTube. I've been streaming for about a week now straight. So guys, if you want to see how these builds are come up with, and you know, just how they are in action in everyday fights, please don't forget to watch the streams. It would really mean a lot to me. Also, just liking the video as well. It's a simple click, and I know that, you know, I know that you guys want to do your own thing, but if you guys could just do me this one favor, click that like button. That really helps me in the algorithm. I can't stress enough. Every time you see one of my videos, boom, like the video. I don't even care if you watched it or not. I mean, I do care if you watch it or not. Obviously, I want you guys to watch the videos, but if you could just like the videos every single time, it means a lot to me and really helps me in the algorithm. But guys, that is it from me. Let's get on with the footage for this build. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next video. Later.